Hi, I recently purchased a juicer and it was much more complicated than I thought it would be. So I thought I would help out anybody else who's interested. What I learned is there are two kinds of juicers. There is the centrifugal and the masticating. And the centrifugal initially is using a blade, and the masticating is a cold press. So I actually have one of each juicer, and we thought we would do a juice off to see which juicer yields the most juice, best taste, and efficiency. I'm using two juicers in the same price category. This is the Breville Fountain Elite. It's a really popular juicer. It's very quick, very convenient. Nothing needs to be cut. Everything goes straight in, as you'll see. And then the other one is a masticating juicer, which is cold pressed. And everything needs to be chopped into small pieces because the feed tube is just 1.5 inches, where that one's at least 3 inches in diameter. So, let us begin. Okay, so we'll be putting the same amounts of vegetables into both juicers. We have kale, which is the dino kale, a green apple, a lemon, celery, cucumber, and a little ginger. This juicer, which is the Omega 8006, and everything needs to be cut into smaller pieces. So right there, if you're not into that kind of time consumption, this would not be the juicer for you. Okay. So we're going to begin with the Omega Nutrition Center 8006. This juicer is a cold pressed juicer, so it is said that the enzymes of the vegetables and fruit remain because it's cold pressed versus the other kind, which is the centrifugal, that is spun and heated, and that it kills some of the enzymes. So you get a little bit more of a purer juice, a different taste, which we'll see at the end. Also, this machine, on a side note, does other things. It makes nut butters, pasta, sorbets out of fruit, so it's multi-talented. As we said, I had to chop everything very small, so this is obviously going to be more time consuming than the Breville Elite. So, here we go. Just turn it on. And we'll start with celery. This is the pulp coming out. It's very fine, very dry looking, which is what you want. The juices are being extracted. So the Omega is where it stands out stellar with leafy greens. So if you're into juicing for the green juice, I would highly recommend an Omega masticating. It by far extracts more green juice than the Breville Elite. If you are more into juicing hard vegetables like apple or carrot, this will definitely do the job. But when it comes to leafy greens, masticating juicers, there's no comparison. That's well known. Okay, so that's the Omega. You let it run a little bit so the pulp extracts. It's very quiet as far as juicing goes. You could do this in the morning, and I don't think you would wake up anybody else that's in your house. And this is the pulp, which is very dry, and you can see that the greens are just completely shredded in a good way, where there's not any leaf left. And here's our green juice, which I will pour, and you tap out the sieve. This is foam. So is it pouring through?
Coming.
Okay. I'm just pouring any juice that might be still in the sieve. Okay. Beautiful. So, you can see there's still quite a bit left in. We've got a nice full glass of our green juice. And now we're going to move over to the Breville Fountain Elite. All right, this is the Breville Fountain Elite. The Cadillac of the centrifugal juicers, so they say. For me, when I first got it, I had a problem with the bubbles, the air that was in the juice, the foam. It's a lighter juice. The Omega is more dense and almost like an elixir. We'll test at the end. I'm going to use my husband, Stan, as my guinea pig, and he'll let us know what he thinks. So I'm going to turn it on. It's going to be loud. And we're going to juice the same amounts and see. So you put a whole cucumber in. Much faster. I'd say the Omega was triple the time, 5 times the amount of time it took to juice. As you can see, no cutting except my apple was a little big, so I just sliced it a couple times. And here's what the juice yields. This has a special pitcher. You can see the juice is a lot more foam and air in it, but the pitcher sort of omits that foam. So the yield, and you can see the color. So this is the Omega, and this is the Breville Elite, and you can see this is much more greener in color, concentrated. This is a little lighter, airy, and I'm going to try it. Start with the Breville. The Breville. It's a clean juice, slightly frothy. And now for the Omega. Definitely a little more greener tasting. That being said, you can decide for yourself. I'm going to do a taste test with Stan. Okay, I brought my guinea pig, and he's going to be our taste tester. The Omega Masticating Nutrition Center 8006 versus the Breville Fountain Elite. And you tell me what you prefer. I'm going to just give you each juice.
Mysterious. Okay. Not bad. Richer, fuller, more full body.
So, the first or the second?
The second.
Okay, so it's the Omega, which I thought would be. So one of the tips that I learned from my friend Maida is to get a couple of Tupperware bins like this to store your greens. They seem to get less soggy. I put a paper towel at the bottom, and that way you can load up on your greens for a few days without running to the store constantly. Another quick tip is sometimes with kale, the little ridges catch little bug critters. And one way around that is, that I learned from my farmer, is just by giving them a bath in a big bowl of water and submerging them, and that way they come clean and a good rinse. Okay.